Well, we decided to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II by doing two plays. I picked a Holocaust play to do upstairs, and then we picked a play called Two about the Nuremberg trials for downstairs. As I was reading these scripts, all of these headlines kept popping up about how the bombing in Syria was devastating and refugees streaming across borders of Europe. And I thought to myself, wow, this is not just a commemoration of the end of World War II, it's a reminder that we still have a lot of learning to do. We seem at this point in our country to be pursuing a kind of perpetual war. And so what was meant originally as a kind of a celebration has turned into a much more philosophical contemplation, I think, of the fact that we still have lessons to learn.
So Hermann Göring, number 2 during the Nazi regime in World War II. Hitler's dead now during the time of the Nuremberg trials, so we've got this charismatic character of Hermann Göring being put on trial for war crimes. And the role that I've had to do during this is make the audience see the Hermann Göring that Germany loved, why he was number 2, a man that was well-educated, charismatic, could deliver a fantastic speech, was funny, was everything you wanted in a man. He was perfect. But then all of a sudden, he was a Nazi. And this is the thing we've got to portray to the audience. He's being put on trial for war crimes, horrible humanity crimes against Jews, Poles, Slavs, and we've got to show the audience the charismatic, brilliant man, and then this Nazi. So it's been a real experience about learning how to portray the two sides of him.
Our main character, our protagonist, is Hermann Göring, the Nazi who murders people. And it's very interesting just seeing how the structure of the play brings the audience onto his side almost. Like he's a person just like everyone else. He did horrible things, but he also has a family that he loves very, very dearly. He is a friendly person, and whether that's a calculation or not is up for the audience to decide. But I think it's interesting that through the course of the play, some people would almost start to side with him. They start to think that he's innocent, and then it's just, at certain points, you just see the Nazi in him just flash out in rage. Well, it's a warning. It's a warning that these horrible things, it's not just, this isn't some devil living on the earth. Like, this is a normal person who's been warped and manipulated and corrupted. And it serves as a warning that this can happen to a lot of different people, and it's not exactly a rare occurrence.
Students learned a lot about the courtroom and about ideals and standing up for your ideals and how teenagers can change the world. I mean, in the upstairs play that we're doing, the whole story involves basically young men and women, 15, 16, 17 years old, who fed the entire Warsaw ghetto with their food smuggling. And so it was very empowering for them, I think, to think about these heroes who were not 28 and 30 and 40, but were in fact teenagers.
They have to steal food, they have to risk their lives just to get a loaf of bread, and I think that puts things into perspective that war is not just, the front lines, it's not an army, or it's not soldier for soldier, and even in today's world that's eerily relevant, because it's not just, it's less soldier on soldier than ever before. We got drones, we got machines, and they're doing a lot of it for us, and we're bringing civilians way closer to combat than they have really been before. And I think the survivors, about us being in a war that's not in a war, not in an active combat zone, kind of harkens to what's going on today. Pay homage, especially when there are such world events like the Ukraine last year, Syria this year. It doesn't seem to be stopping, so it's good to bring it back into a perspective where it's fresh again, because I feel like a lot of people in our generation, World War II is a thing they study in history class, and it's not visceral anymore, and it's not a lesson anymore. And now this brings it back right into the forefront of their minds.